Hi and welcome to the Peregrine Dame. This time we're in Durban, South Africa. Hi, I'm Rachel Parsons and I travel alone. All over the world in order to show you that traveling solo doesn't have to be so scary.
And that traveling alone doesn't mean you're lonely.
So don't wait for somebody to come with you. The world is not going to wait for you.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Be a Peregrine Dame.
Be a Peregrine Dame. Located on the east coast of South Africa, Durban is the country's largest shipping port and third largest city. It's also home to one of the most diverse ethnic populations anywhere in South Africa. During the 1800s, the British brought thousands of Indians to South Africa as indentured servants. Durban is home to about 500,000 of their descendants. Fascinated by their unique position in society here, I decide to delve into their culture with a little help from a popular online resource. I've stayed in hotels everywhere I've gone to shoot this series so far. I'm a pretty solitary person, so I tend to be happy with that. I like being able to go home at the end of a day if I'm shooting and just relax and have some peace and quiet. But staying in a hotel can keep you separated from the real feel of the culture and real contact with locals. So for this trip to Durban, I've decided to try couchsurfing, and I've found two very willing, very nice hosts through couchsurfing.com. At least I think they're nice. When I arrive at their house late in the afternoon, nobody's home. But I don't wait long, and soon one of the two brothers who've agreed to host me for 3 nights rolls in. Nishen finds out how much I love Indian food and offers to take me to eat the best curry in town. Best curry in Durban. It's in a petrol station. He wasn't lying. The old Indian woman in the Sassel garage in the suburb of Phoenix makes the most scrumptious lamb curry I've ever had. That's good though. Nishen knows I'm here to make a travel show, though he's not entirely comfortable with the prospect of a camera in his face. It was his brother, Sujin, that accepted my couchsurfing request. Thing is, Sujin lives in Johannesburg and volunteered Nishen to host both of us. But Sujin's been delayed, and poor Nishen is stuck with a camera up his nose.
You don't look bad, Sue.
Thank you.
Thankfully, he's a good sport about it. I just spent my first full night couchsurfing ever. And it's really pretty pleasant. I can already tell that staying here in the home of men who've lived in Durban their whole lives, basically, is going to let me get to know Durban much more than I ever thought I could, than I ever would be able to without it, for sure. But I'm used to living alone. So even for a few nights, this is a little bit of a shock to my system because, you know, their maid is here. For starters, the housekeeper came at about 8 a.m. Last night, a bunch of their friends came over, which they were all really lovely people, but I'd traveled all day and was exhausted. I was trying to sit up and look coherent and interested while 5 South Africans sat around and all talked at once. So it was a little jarring. But it's still going to be good. You're couch surfing. Obviously, you're going to be on couches a lot. Some people do have guest rooms. These particular hosts don't, which is no big deal because you're staying for free. My couch is pretty comfortable, so all in all, I think it's going to be good. It's just going to take some adjusting for me because I'm not used to being around other human beings in my, in my sleeping spaces, basically. I drag myself up and tag along with some of Nishin's friends, ending up in Durban's city center. I'm curious about the men I see in safety vests everywhere, helping people park. I find one who agrees to let me tape him. Are they city employees? Are they government employees at all?
Not at all. They're just working for themselves to get cash for themselves.
And the city doesn't bother them?
Sometimes depends, because there are certain parkings that are kept for municipality. So in big events, they're just being chased away. But in small events, they're just doing it for getting cash.
So most everybody actually make a living doing this?
Exactly, yes. Exactly. That's how they survive.
How long have most of these guys been doing jobs like this?
Actually, the thing, as far as I'm concerned, it started before the apartheid. The white guys who were starving and not working, they used to do it. Then after that, in those days, black people were not allowed to lodge around in town, in the city. After the first elections, then they just arrive in Durban and other cities, then they do it to get cash.
When the Peregrine Dame returns, I finally meet Sujin, and my first day in Durban ends in a purple haze. Fascinated by the racial pluralism in South Africa's third largest city, I've come to Durban alone. I want to find out more about the huge population of Indian descent here, so I've arranged to stay at the home of two Indian South Africans, Sujin and Nishin, through Couchsurfing.com. Nishin's been nice enough to invite me to have dinner at his aunt's house, and since I love Indian food like I love air, I'm very excited. It's Indian food, right? Unless she all of a sudden feels frisky and then it's Italian for an evening. Yeah. This would definitely not be happening if I had chosen to stay in a hotel. So this is one of those things that would be rare in any other circumstance if you were traveling through a place for a short amount of time. Indo-South Africans enjoyed relative privilege in apartheid-era South Africa, second only to whites. They were allowed to have decent educations and live in the cities. Nishin's aunt and uncle are a retired school teacher and a doctor. We eat a bite, get some practice in, and head out for the family's favorite pastime. Billiards is quite popular in South Africa. Nishin and his uncle have played in a league for years. Take it pool was introduced by the British?
Yeah, this is a British sport.
We're still in a predominantly Indian neighborhood, and although there are a few black people here, I'm the only white one. Aunt Shamim tells me that during apartheid, Indians didn't socialize with blacks, but like whites, they hired blacks as domestic help. Nishin is part of the first generation that's not old enough to remember apartheid. Nishin and his uncle play a few quick games, and we're off to catch up with Sujin, who's finally made it in from Johannesburg. This would be a car full of people incarcerated tonight if we were in the U.S. And we're not claiming that it's altogether legal in South Africa, but Nishin drunk unopened beer out of the bar and into the car.
It's legal for us to drink in the car. Okay. As long as we're not in public.
Okay, so it's legal to drink in the car. You can have open containers.
No,
okay.
It's not legal. She doesn't know the law, Rachel.
No, it's not legal. It's legal to drink in public.
It's just that you're never going to get caught.
Okay.
Remember that when you're in Africa, the driver has to always be sober.
Sober. You can be so totally drunk.
Okay. That's good.
The best is being drunk.
You know that we got taxis in South Africa?
Yeah, who never know where the hell they're going. Every cab I've ever gotten into here.
Yeah, I told her.
No. Every cab I've ever gotten into here, they ask you where you're going, and I give them the address, and then they say, how do you get there?
Ask you, ask the
Do I fucking sound like I know how to get there?
How you get there.
South Africa's a car-centric culture. There is no widespread public transport in Durban, so plan accordingly. We're heading south into the city center from Phoenix.
Hey, Joe, this is what I brought you here for. I want you to experience the trance that you're gonna get from this drumming experience. It's unbelievable.
Unfortunately, one of the musicians didn't want me to experience it, at least not with my camera rolling. I try it one more time.
What's your problem? Oh, no.
I thought Rastafarians were supposed to be peaceful. I am shooting from the ladies' room. In fact, I'm shooting from a stolen ladies' room because it's about the only place I can shoot out here. I've been told twice, nicely and then not so nicely, to not shoot the drum circle here. And I've never gotten a straight answer as to why. Everybody is very veiled about it, but there's a lot of marijuana use, there's a lot of pot smoking going on. They don't trust me because they don't know that I'm not a journalist or that I don't belong to the police. So all they'll actually tell me in person is that they want to keep it a free environment and a very open environment, and they don't want anybody spoiling it. But nobody will say in explicit terms. They don't want to get busted. I move it outside in order not to be accosted again. Although I do end up getting to play a drum and dance in the circle. But I can't show you everything that's going on because every time I put the camera on, some percussionist comes along. It's the same guy over and over who tells me not to and he turns me home. And he's getting a little belligerent, so I'm going to stop. And before I know it, Sujin's arrived.
Hey, welcome to Durban.
With another couch surfer.
Rachel. This is Hussein. He's from Belgium. He's another Couchsurfing. Try to lift up.
Where in Belgium?
Parsons. No, America.
It's easy to get caught up in the partying and forget that in Africa, the tradition of drumming means much more than an excuse to get drunk and stoned. Although the angry guy won't speak to me about it, Justin, one of the drum circle's founders, is happy to. How long have you been playing with this circle?
In this circle, we started this movement for like 4 years now. Basically, if I can tell you what is percussion like all about, it's like it started as in, this wasn't a musical instrument. It's like it's an instrument that passed the message like a cell phone in nowadays. You know what I mean?
So it's a means of communication originally.
It's
the whole tradition of drumming.
The whole thing, yeah. Let's say someone passed away in the other area, like now we're in John Main Street. Like let's say someone passed away along the street, like West Street or something. We will have to play the rhythm that's them that can understand what is happening.
What do you want the rest of the world to know about this music and about this practice? Anything you want to say?
The only thing I will say is happiness. You know, like you must just enjoy and then just be free. You know, because percussion is not just the easiest thing that you can do, but you can just have fun after it. You know what I'm saying? It's like poetry with hands.
Tipsy and starving, we quit Cool Runnings and head for the Indo-South African version of the After Club burrito, roti.
We are happy to get roti in the middle of the night.
It's a curry burrito using Indian flatbread. Amazing. And finally, we're home. All right, if there is a drawback to couch surfing, this is it. It's almost 3:45 in the morning on me, and I just got back with one of my two hosts. We had a great night. It was a lot of fun, and they're wonderful, and I had a load of fun, and their friends were there, and some of the family was there, and it's been a great night, but I'm ready to go to bed, and everybody is still up talking and partying, and friends are over, and we're all about the same age, and I feel like such an old woman because I just want to pass out. except they're all sitting on my bed. It's my last full day in Durban with my Couchsurfing host Sujin and fellow surfer Hussein. Driving around the Indian suburb of Phoenix in North Durban, I get to ask Sujin about his Couchsurfing experiences.
My first Couchsurfing request only came in during the World Cup in June, July.
Oh, I bet. Were you just inundated at that point?
Yeah,
Everybody
completely.
on the planet wanted to
But
see
my
that?
response to everyone was, if you're coming to stay, we're going to take in anybody who gets stuck for a place to stay. So everybody agreed, and then some nights we ended up with like 14 people.
14 people in that house
Yeah.
right now.
They were, yeah,
Sleeping in the driveway?
everywhere.
So it wasn't any big deal then for Hussein to show up at the last minute.
No, not at all. Actually, and my longest Couchsurfer stayed with me for like just over a month, like 32 days.
Since this one has a pickup truck. It's my new best friend. We met yesterday. We're very close now.
Yeah.
And I'm also a seatbelt.
That's right. Thankfully.
Safety first.
Where are we going now?
Phoenix Plaza, where the pipes are flowing and the bitches are blowing.
It's really just a shopping mall. After last night's rager, we're in search of hangover food. Bunny chow is kind of a well-known Durban Indian dish that I've heard about I'm finally gonna try it.
It's half a loaf, it's a quarter loaf of bread with the dough hollowed out and filled with curry, and it makes an easy, convenient meal that you eat with your hands.
And what's it called?
A bunny chow. How the name came about, I have no fucking idea, but anyway, that's what it's called. And this over here is sheep's legs, only their feet though. Meh.
Bunny chow and sheep's feet.
Yeah, trotters and beans. Trotters as in what you trot with, you know?
Oh, that's cold. Like Bambi, trotters and beans.
Yeah, this sheep ain't trotting no more.
I'm suddenly distracted from my bunny chow by the look on Hussein's face.
I think it was
A chili.
a chili.
I warned you.
Belgian doesn't eat hot food, and we gave him something that wasn't supposed to be very hot. He's sweating.
Not even breaking a sweat, I think he's gonna be bleeding this afternoon. Unfortunately for him.
We're going to create an international incident when we kill this poor European.
Drink the water. Stay away from the chili.
I'm fine, thank you. I'm good.
Hussein survives, and we head into the city for some more Indian flavor. And all of the Indians were brought over in the 1800s by the British Empire as indentured servants. Most of the languages died out, but the religion stuck, so there are huge populations of Hindus and Muslims in Durban. Today we've come to an Indian festival, a Hindu festival, from Hare Krishnas. Sweetmeats means what, generally?
It's just basically any sweet dessert.
And it's got nothing to do with meat, really.
No, not at all. This is chana magaj, gulab jam, and barfi. What do you think?
I don't know what I was expecting. I think I was expecting something a lot sweeter. None of them are what Americans think of as dessert, though. They're not loaded full of sugar like our desserts are. They're really nice. It's subtle. The fact is, Sujin and his immediate family are secular, something that's becoming more common for younger Indian South Africans. So we leave the religious to their sweetmeats and head for the beach. It's a long and lovely beachfront, so renting a bicycle is a great way to see it. The bike rentals here are about 50 Rand for an hour. It's a really reasonable price, and the beach in Durban is just gorgeous. So if you've got the time, it's a great way to kill part of an afternoon. Oh, yeah. And yourself, if you're doing it while you're operating the camera.
Rachel versus you're the best!
They've all been drinking beer. I feel I should say everybody's a little tipsy. Especially Belgium.
Always drink and cycle.
Cycle. As we eat and drink our way along the boardwalk in the city center, Sujin paints a clearer picture of Durban for me.
Personally, it doesn't take much to be happy in the city. The moral dilemma is that if you want to live a lavish life, well, I wouldn't say lavish, if you want to prepare for the future and go with society's norms, which is earn money and have a good upbringing for your kids, then you have to go to Joburg where the money is substantially more.
Some of the other cities in South Africa tend to be more integrated. So Durban's one of the last cities that the ethnic groups really still tend to keep to themselves, and there are definite parts of town.
It's predominantly a financial issue. Because there's not that much money in Durban, people haven't integrated between the rich areas and the poor areas.
I have a feeling my last night here in Durban is going to be a little bit of a blowout, if last night was any indication. But I'm wrong. We end up at a mellow restaurant and lounge in the Gateway development in North Durban. It's a new shop, work, live district that feels like it could be anywhere near my home in Southern California.
It's my last night in Durban. It's the end of my first successful couchsurfing trip. And nothing here is what I expected it to be, and it's been an absolute delight the entire time.
Durban and the people I've met here have left a deep impression on me, and I'm reluctant to go. There are few places on earth that I'm always sad to leave, and South Africa is one of them. To see extra scenes and outtakes, head on over to theperagrindame.com.